Hi, my name is Alan Lamont, and this video is to introduce a good friend of mine named Jorg. He has a YouTube channel called Juggler66, and he has radio broadcasts from the website Vatican Design Exposed. And Jorg, you can tell the people in your words who you are and what you're revealing in these radio broadcasts.
Yes, thank you very much, Alan, for the opportunity tonight to come on and telling some of your viewers on the channel about me. I started researching the New World Order about some 3 years ago, and that is a very long way, so I will cut a little bit short right now and tell you what I'm busy with the latest weeks, and that is that with a very good friend of mine from Oregon, United States, who is the host of a website that is called Grand Design Exposed, and another friend of him, Wayne Michael, who has the website avenueoflight.com. We are going to make radio shows to try to inform people about the situation that has formed itself because of a so-called Society of Jesus that is in this world, and that is ruling every shadow government of every nation in this world for the moment right now.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that is up to the news, but we are even going into the depths of history, because we are of the conviction that if you do not know the past, you cannot understand the future, you cannot understand the present, and certainly cannot make any predictions into the future. And the problem is a little bit like Tupper Saussy wrote in his book, Rulers of Evil. Now, I don't have the quote out of my head, so I'm just gonna look that up, so you have to give me a moment. It was on the pages 73 and 74, I think, of his book, Rulers of Evil, from Tupper Saussy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was going on about how history actually is going to take out of our education system. So the quote is, most colleges today are turning out graduates who have studied little or no history. In 1914, 90% of America's elite colleges required history. In 1939 and 1964, more than 50% did. By 1996, only one of the 50 best schools offered a required history course. The day is approaching, perhaps, when the only historians will be amateurs who study history as self-help, who examine the past in order to make sense of the present and not be caught unprepared by the future. End quote. So this is from Tupper Saussy's book, Rulers of Evil, page 73 and 74, that I took this from. And that's actually a little bit the reason why you are watching this video right now. Because Alan and me and Walt, that I work with, and Mike, the other guy who's doing the work with us, we are all just these amateurs that he refers to in his book. We have not been educated in school about real history. We have only been indoctrinated about facts that some people wanted us to know. You know?
Mm-hmm.
That is not the way learning should be done. That at least is my opinion. So our focus on this radio show that we are doing, that is called The Jesuit Connection to 1776, is to try to tell people about the real background of the so-called founding fathers. And in the Bible already it said, call nobody your father but the one that who is in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's correct.
I don't cite that for 100% just, but I think that's the gist that's in the Bible. So when you speak about founding fathers, then you are already busy with blasphemy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And the founding fathers, so-called, or the people who founded the United States of America, are being said to be Christians. And we will prove, based on research and based also on a movie from John Pinto, I think is his name. Pinto is his last name, I don't know his first name. That movie is called The Hidden Face of the Founding Fathers. You can look that up on YouTube or on Google and watch it for yourself. It's a, I think, 2.5 hour or 3 hour documentary. Very, very interesting, with a lot of quotes from this so-called founding fathers, where you can actually see that they were surely not Christians, and that even the founding of America was not really scriptural. I'd like to take a little quote from there, if I might.
Absolutely, go ahead, brother.
Yeah. I guess you all are familiar with Thomas Paine. Thomas Paine was also one of the founding people there in America. He was the author of the book The Age of Reason. This is very interesting when you think about what happened in 1980 in the US state of Georgia, where they built these Georgia Guidestones. Yeah. I guess you've already heard of them. This monument, Stonehenge-like, they built of granite tablets in Georgia, where they engraved 10 different commandments, let's call them commandments, for a new world order. You are familiar with this, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So if you want to add anything, just interrupt me and just say anything. Otherwise, I'm giving here a monologue and you fall asleep.
No. Just speak freely. There's one thing that did come to mind when you're talking about history, which is interesting. If you look at the film 1984, which is obviously a vision of what's called the Orwellian society, within that film you have what's called the historical revisionism, or what they called in the outer party Ministry of Truth. So you had the inner party of Big Brother, which really rewrote history. And actually, when you go into the film 1984, what they're actually doing is they're giving people illegitimate and false interpretation of history, which is obviously deliberate to advance the agenda of the police state. And so people are looking into all of these things that are happening within that film, but what they're doing is they're changing the words. So when people read the words 50 years from now, they have a different understanding of that word. Same thing in the schooling system, same thing in the universities, exactly like you say. It's 1984 being played out. This is really a film, you know. George Orwell was on the inside of BBC, and he was obviously connected to the Crown, and he understood the whole system, and he was trying to send a message to people, really.
Yeah, you're throwing a very interesting ball there, because when you say 1984, I'd like to answer Brave New World. That was written by Aldous Huxley in 1932. Yeah. You can also watch movies on that, because it's filmed 2 or 3 times, I think. I watched the oldest one for once, I think. And Aldous Huxley died somewhere in the 1960s. And before he died, in an interview, and that is something, some information that I got from Alan Watt, who has the website Cutting Through the Matrix, in one of his lectures, he said that Aldous Huxley, before his death in the video, admitted that everything that happened in the movie, or in his book, Brave New World, is actually not fiction, but the ideas of the elite for the sheeple, let's say. And this brings me to something that I found today, that is where do I have this here? That is a quote from, I just sent you that a little bit earlier, Alan. I have to find it here, from Bertrand Russell. Bertrand Russell. I wrote it down, and of course now I can. From Bertrand Russell. That is an English philosopher who lived between 1872 and 1970. And he said in one of his books, gradually, by selective breeding, the congenital differences between rulers and ruled will increase until they become almost different species. A revolt of the plebs would become as unthinkable as an organized insurrection of sheep against the practice of eating mutton. Something one should really think about. When you see that today our normal school system is even dumbing the people down, and only in elite schools people get real education or better education, we really are talking about a two-class society. When you look at America, where all the students are so much in debt that they have to work their whole life to just pay back their student loans, then you see where all this thing is going.
And these people think they have the right to rob people of, you know,
Yes.
world historical truth. They think they have the right to be at the top, and really, you know, they are the initiated, they are the illuminated ones. So, you know, 99.9% of this planet has a false understanding of history. And this, of course, is why you're bringing this out on these radio broadcasts, is to teach people and give people true secret history, really.
Yeah. Now, before I go back to the Georgia Guidestones where I left off, I will pick up there. I want another quote from Bertrand Russell from his book, The Impact of Science on Society. Quote, diet, injections, and injunctions will combine from a very early age to produce the sort of character and the sort of beliefs that the authorities consider desirable. And any serious criticism of the powers that be will become physiologically impossible. That's a quote from his book, The Impact of Science on Society. You can download that book via the internet as a PDF, and I will send you the link, Alan, that you can put that in the description of the video.
Absolutely, thank you.
So then can people read that. But I was stuck at the Georgia Guidestones, where these 10 commandments are written, yes? And I was there because Thomas Paine authored a book, The Age of Reason. And when you go to the Georgia Guidestones, there is a little tablet on the same hill where the Guidestones are, and explaining the Georgia Guidestones, and there is the sentence that you can read, quote, let these be guidestones to an age of reason, end quote. Thomas Paine wrote this book about 80. You can look that up. Maybe even before that. But in the time of the founding of the United States of America, and these guidestones have been built in 1980, so that's about 200 years before that, and they refer to the book The Age of Reason. So Thomas Paine was also contending against Jesus Christ. He denounces the virgin birth of Christ because it is not reasonable. About the Bible, he states it would be more consistent that we call it the word of a demon than the word of God. And in the end, on this deathbed, there were some 20 witnesses all affirming or admitting that Thomas Paine had not recanted from his anti-Christian belief. So that's just about this one person. We have a few other persons that we go through, like John Adams, George Washington, Jefferson. Some very interesting things that a lot of people do not know. I mean, how many people have heard about the Treaty of Tripoli? Yeah? Probably not so much. So even this is being mentioned in the lectures that we do. This radio show is on every Sunday night between 8 and 9 p.m. my time here in Europe, but we will provide the link for the website where that is on beneath the video in the description box, and you can listen to it whenever you want. Because it is recorded, and you can listen to it from the website, or you can even download it. So maybe there's something you want to end with, Alan, with my ranting here?
Would you be willing to do a part 2 after this?
Yeah, okay, I have no problem with that. I still have things to say, I think.
Excellent, yeah, because obviously there's a lot you can share. So just for the last minute, just to tell people, who is at the top of the New World Order? Who's at the very tip-top of the all-seeing eye?
Well, that's an easy one. That's the all-seeing eye. That's Satan. That's right. Nimrod. Yeah? That's his eye that is hovering above the pyramid.
Yes.
The missing cornerstone, as they call it. Something very interesting that we should go into the second part is about this number 1776, because that actually means 666.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll do that.
I can go to that on the second part. maybe to get people on the edge of their seats.
And we'll do that. Thank you everyone for listening. God bless you, and as always, all roads lead to Rome. And watch the second part of this video. God bless you.
God bless you. Yeah.